Hey everyone, so I just wanted to make a quick video for the Plankton and Productivity lab. It's one of the last little sections, and the website we use can be a little bit tricky. And I've noticed that in the past there have just been a few missteps here and there of like quote unquote properly following the directions. So especially if you can't make it to class to see the demo in person, or if you're in the online version of the class, what have you, or if you just don't want to sift through, if you're in the Zoom class, you don't want to sift through the recording, here's a nice little tutorial for you. So what we're going to be looking at here is temperature profile with depth for sea surface or sea temperature. It's not just the surface, right? We're going down the water column a little bit. And what this actually can give us are differences in productivity in different regions. And it's really important to also note here that we're talking about the open ocean. We're not talking about coastal waters. We're considering more so out in the middle of the ocean, not like where we are right now, right? Okay, so let's walk through it. So first, of course, you're going to walk through just a few of these questions about productivity, and just reminding ourselves of some definitions of some different terms that hopefully we have covered in class. So then what we're going to do is open up this lovely little website here, and maybe this looks familiar, and it should if you've completed Lab 5, I think it is, Seawater Properties. So what we're looking at the moment are sea surface temperatures, but now we're just going to make some adjustments. I'm just going to zoom in here a little bit. We're just going to make some adjustments to these drop downs here at the very bottom, and I have it stepped through bullet point by bullet point. But I still like going through it just to show you what we're doing. So we're changing longitude to depth, latitude to Levitus monthly temp, and colors to profile. And then we're just going to hit refresh. And a really good thing to also just practice is like, what are we looking at, right? So we're looking at latitude is 89.5 degrees south. Our longitude is 0.5 degrees east. We're looking for the month of January. Our x-axis is Levitus monthly temperatures, and our y-axis is depth. But we're going to make some changes to this, but I want us to think critically a little bit first before we jump into that. Mainly because of location, right? So we don't see anything on this graph. Nothing is showing up. Why would that be? Consider the location we're looking at, right? So we are at 89.5 degrees south. Where are we? And why would that make sense that we don't see sea surface temperatures or sea temperatures just in general? Recall, you can even look this up. You could do 89.5 degrees south. Where is that? If this wants to work, latitude. Like, where is that map? There we go. There we go. So if you pull up a latitude longitude map, you don't really even have to like fully click into it. Notice 90 degrees south, or just recognizing where that is, right, is Antarctica, right? So we're not going to see sea surface or sea temperatures here because we are on land. So we're just going to make some adjustments. So we're going to make two main adjustments. The first one we're going to make is we're going to change the values of the y-axis, because a lot of times when we're looking at depth profiles, we actually like to have the surface at the top of the graph and depth at the bottom of the graph. And that's how we look at them in our lecture classes. So we're just going to make that adjustment. I think I have -10 at the top. Negative just meaning now we're above the surface a little bit, just to give us a little bit of leeway there, and about, I think, 1200-ish on the bottom. So now we've just kind of flipped that. So now our surface is up here at the top and depth is at the bottom. And then the main change here that we're going to make then is you're now going to enter these coordinates, 37.5 north, 37.5 north, 127.5 west. I will also mention that if you don't give this capital letters, sometimes the website will be wonky and it will say error, error, error. So just make sure that you do capital letters, or if you're having an issue with that, just try capital letters and it'll probably work. Now we can see a depth profile of temperature. Again, with our y-axis, or excuse me, x-axis of temperature in degrees, with our lower temperatures on the left, higher temperatures on our right. We're not going to make any adjustment to the temperature values themselves, because in order to properly compare graphs to one another, it's best to keep the values the same. So make no changes to the temperature. You're just making changes to the depth and the location. It would also behoove you to maybe figure out where this location is. Pull this up on a map. Might be a fun little exercise to do. Anywho, so from here, those are like the main changes, and those are the ones that I think need the biggest kind of walkthrough. Everything else I think is relatively straightforward. So you're going to walk through this in 3 different locations, the one we've already selected, and you're going to tell me which season and which layer is either isothermal or where there is a most developed thermocline. And time of year. So for some of us, the drop downs haven't been working very well, and that kind of just came to my attention. So that's why I have the purple highlighted here. If the drop downs aren't working for whatever reason, then you should be able to just type in the response. Excuse me. So you're going to do that for wherever this location is. Take little screenshots of each month that I ask for. I think it's January, April, July, and October. And then you can attach them to the document nice and small. Don't need to see anything super, super wild, but you can make them small. And then you're going to repeat that process for a location near the poles of your choice. So anywhere from 60 to 90 degrees north or south. You're going to keep the longitude the same though. So we're all splitting through the Pacific Ocean. You're just changing, you get the option of where in the polar regions or in the equatorial regions, which is the next part of the exercise. So the big thing here is that if you do not see a line, you're probably on land. So using a map to help guide you will be very beneficial. Thankfully, the Pacific Ocean is pretty large and there's really not as much land in the Pacific Ocean. I think the most, especially for the equatorial region, I think that where you might perhaps have a little bit of issues there would maybe be the polar regions, just because there is Alaska, which is pretty big. So anyways, so that's how I want you to go through that part of the activity. If you have any issues with the website in general, please reach out to me, or if you're in one of my classes where you have a TA, you can reach out to them as well. Otherwise, I hope that this was helpful, and I'll see you all soon. Thank you so much for watching.